Good morning, Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. Today we're going to do a Divine Masculine check-in. All right, everybody, ground where you are, wherever you're listening to this. Thank you, Spirit, for being with us. Thank you for any and all guidance you share with us today. What do we need to know? Thank you. Okay, masculines. We have Pleiadian activation, coming together, harmony in the heavens, and resolution. Anything else for masculines? What's showing up on their path? What are the blocks showing up? What are the solutions to those blocks for the highest and best good of self on the planet? Thank you. We have Stellar Gateway activation, infinite potential manifestation vortex, and we also have the Holy Grail, inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek, masculines. There seems to be a grace shining over the masculines right now. Mainly that the masculines are giving themselves the grace to take another step towards wholeness, towards inner union, to allow the inner discovery to unfurl at its own sacred divine pace without shoving it or without forcing meaning. It's really easy when we are locked in the ego to not only shove meaning where meaning might not actually be, but also be incredibly rigid and definitive in those beliefs. So masculine energy is stepping into an open curiosity right now, honoring that there are many things that are not in their control. I think the masculines are finally starting to get this whole surrendering to the mystery thing. When we reserve judgment, when we reserve creating a sort of rigid structure, we open ourselves up to potential and possibility. And because of this sort of, I'm doing this motion, it feels like that. It feels like this living, breathing organism that's trying to birth itself. In that, all that sort of life force kind of pulsating, there is resolution coming in. And with all of that sort of flexibility, this vortex, this portal is able to open. So yeah, masculines, you are starting to tap into something, a way of ease and grace that you haven't had before. It's not an accident. Hold on. Let's rightfully place the Holy Grail at the center of the reading. It's not an accident. This Holy Grail, we have the Vesica Pisces behind it too. And we have the symbol of the Holy Grail. So you have the goblet part. You have the part that holds liquid. That's symbolic of the womb space. And then you have the stem of the chalice, which is a phallic symbol, which symbolizes, the masculine. And together in this holy union, there is sort of a function emerging. There is a higher calling for your purpose, masculines. And so it wouldn't surprise me if you're starting to have just little awarenesses arise, little missing puzzle pieces of things you couldn't really see clearly. Let's just see what's in the unconscious position. We have divine matrix, inner interconnectedness, synchronicity, and gut incidences. I love that line. Gut incidences. It's like a divine synchronicity, essentially. So some of you, let me put this here so we could keep our eyeballs on it. Reminding everyone, this is the shadow position. So this is what's outside of your consciousness, masculines. To the true, deep-seated belief that the divine is actually working with you, working for you, unfurling for your highest and best good. There's something, masculines, what about that is uncomfortable? So sometimes this is the shadow position, meaning it's something we're ashamed of. It's something we don't want others to know about. So are you ashamed of your divine connection? Are you ashamed of your spirituality? Have you been sort of keeping your spirituality underground? Is there, what is this for you? Is there a fear of judgment? Is there a fear of some sort of repercussions? At some point, the scale tips and it is no longer safe for us to keep quiet. At some point, this compromise may turn into self-sacrifice. And if you are in alignment with that choice, fine, no harm, no foul, great. Wield your free will, you're a sovereign being, you could do whatever you want. However, if you are resenting or if you are upset about some sort of choice that you feel you were forced to make, now that's leaning into self-betrayal territory. So you're rejecting and betraying a part of self, a part that wants to speak, a part that has opinions, desires, fears, boundaries. So masculines, just take a little inventory, a little interior inventory of, are you crossing your boundaries right now in your life? Are you crossing your boundaries in any capacity? I don't care how small or how large this is. It could be as big as you're with a partner you don't want to be with, or it could be as small as you don't like the toothpaste you're using and you're using it anyway. In the realm of energy, it does not matter the size of the energetic violation. These are still violations. And so part of what this path is for everybody is to learn to come into relationship with their intuition in a mature way. The divine is constantly in communication with us. It's our blocks that hinders us from receiving those messages. And then there's other interior blocks that we actually know we received the message, but we still don't follow our intuition. We still don't take action on whatever this is. And so you've heard me say this before, but masculines, in order to increase intuition, you must increase self-esteem. Now that's going to look different for all of you. What makes you feel really good about yourself? For me, finishing a yoga series, I feel really good. For me, being in service to the collective when I can really help someone, when I help someone make a connection within themselves and you could see their entire system activate. They have this like micro awakening and it's so delicious. It feeds my soul so much. What is this for you? What boosts your self-esteem? And mind you, now if I was your spiritual director, I would of course have to direct you to transparency regarding shallow desires. When I say what gives you self-esteem, I don't mean like those quick little boosts of, oh, someone thought I was attractive or I make a lot of money and whatever. No, I'm talking the self-esteem that tells yourself that you will not lose your power in the face of anything. You will not lose your power when you have road rage in traffic. You will not lose your power when you get let go from that job or when someone breaks up with you or when you break up with someone else. You will not compromise yourself. If you get an intuition to go for a walk, you will go for a walk. If you get an intuition to stop eating the sugar, you will stop eating the sugar. It's that sort of powerhouse security, self-esteem. Basically, the life force surrounding you is always testing you, all of us. Is this vessel a hospitable host for this divine mission and life force? And the way we prove that is basically, are we people of our word? If we perceive something, if we're given divine intuition, do we follow it, or do we, bow our heads down and keep it moving and ignore all of this wisdom that's flowing through you? Very interesting messages so far, and we don't have very many cards on the table. All right, let's see, where else do we want to go, Spirit? I don't know why I'm really called to these New Orleans cards, and it's such a small tiny little deck, but I just really enjoy it. Okay, anything you want to share with us, Spirit? Divine Masculines, anything else they need to know? Anything else they should focus on for the highest and best good of self and the planet? Oh, explosion. Wow, I have 2 cards flipped in my hand and 1 launched, and I didn't even feel these things. Okay, we have, what does this say? Abundance. We have spiritual knowledge in reverse. We have the labyrinth, and then we have gratitude. Okay, masculines, you are being asked to have gratitude for the things that are already in your life, even if those things are challenges, even if those things are profound grief or loss or frustration. You are being asked to celebrate what is in your vessel at the current moment. When you can access that level of love and gratitude for whatever, just gratitude to be alive, gratitude for this divine insight, for the wisdom you have been able to receive thus far, you kind of start calibrating your energetic system towards abundance. And when you can live in that place, it doesn't matter. This is the thing. It's like we're learning how to unplug from the societal cultural matrix. We're learning how to unplug from what society tells us is powerful and find our true inner power. It doesn't matter the clothes on your back, what you look like, how much money in your bank account, the job you do. What matters is the amount of love and light you can hold within your chalice, the chalice of your vessel, your human body, your heart, and what you do with that information. I can't stop staring at this figure right here. Hold on, let me hold it up for you all. I mean, I don't know why, it's like mesmerizing to me. This figure's eyes are closed. Sign of humility. They have the crescent moon at their third eye. There's something about honoring your stages of wisdom, honoring that if you can't see clearly right now, it's intentional. If you can't solve something, if something's not working, a relationship, a partnership, a project, if something's not working for you, masculines, it's not working for a reason. You're meant to let it go. Sometimes the planet, consciousness, whatever, the universe, God, sometimes, they make us so uncomfortable, so we finally let go. But so many of us, because of our tethers, because of our anchors, because of our egoic desires, we double down and we dig in our heels and we hold on even tighter when really we're being asked to let go. We're being asked to let go and surrender. In the unconscious position, let's see what we have. Oh my God, I feel like I only get the same few cards in this whole deck. We have this, and forgive me, I think it's a French pronunciation, l'agnape. It means a gift. We have I always read this card. I always get this card, and I always read this card. Bear with me. Okay, it says, good intentions always pay off in one way or another, masculines. You've pulled this card because although things in your life may not have panned out exactly as you had anticipated, your karmic reward will be quite pleasant and may surprise you. Sometimes the best gifts are the unexpected ones. If you continue to live your life led by positive and loving thoughts and actions, the peaceful and pleasant results may surprise you. Perfect. This is in alignment with what I was just talking about. Mind you, though, this is in the unconscious position. So this is either something you're pushing away. Maybe it's very uncomfortable for you to surrender. Maybe it's uncomfortable for you not to be ambitious and to always be chasing something. Maybe it's uncomfortable for you to stay still. Maybe you are someone that likes to occupy your time, your space, your energy. You're always going, you're always moving, you're always talking to all different people. When we don't create space for the divine to gift us with something, we will not receive the gift. And so you're being called to surrender to whatever is being gifted to you in this moment. And that means even if it's uncomfortable truths, even if it's like, hey, this partner no longer serves you, this job, living in this location, in this house no longer serves you. It's hindering your energy. You're a sponge for negativity. You got to get out of there. Whatever this is for you, receive with gratitude, grace, ease, and flow. Okay? All right, masculines, do we want more? I just feel called to get a quick inner child moment. All right, Spirit. Anything else for divine masculines? Anything else? Okay, we're going to take all of them. Let's see what we got here. Emotions are the reflection. Look for deeper meaning. Let it come forth. Give yourself permission to feel it. And then we have a couple reversals. Be true to who you are. Fear will not stop you from shining. Find your haven. There is a place of wonder waiting for you. Okay, masculines, what I'm getting off of these cards, sorry, I'm trying to find the words for this. We have another portal here, I'm just noticing. Some of you were, I don't want to say this in such a graphic way, but I'm going to. Some of you had the emotional intelligence beaten out of you as a child. And when I say that, maybe it was literally, and you experienced that sort of trauma. And maybe it just means that because of your life experience, it's sort of, I don't want to say numb, but sort of cauterized this flow of emotional peace, emotional surrender, emotional self-acceptance. It's completely understandable if emotions and vulnerability have not been valued in your childhood, in your life, if you've been chastised for your vulnerability, masculines, if you were made fun of, if you were literally unsafe in some capacity by being vulnerable, if you didn't have that safety to speak your truth, to allow the truth of your emotions to come forward, it's understandable why your self-esteem would be taking a hit, because as we get older and we don't correct that imbalance, we are continuing to repress all of this emotional density, all of this emotional energy. I know this is a horrible thing, but it's also a very known thing that oftentimes we end up perpetuating the same patterns and treating ourselves the way our caregivers did when we were being raised. And if that was a good thing, great. If it wasn't a good thing, it's, we are now becoming, I don't know why, I don't want to use such intense language, but I'm just going to honor the energies that are coming through. If we were abused as children in any capacity, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, astrally, whatever this was for you, we in essence are being taught how to treat ourselves. And then as we get older, oftentimes, if we're not aware of this, if we are unconscious of this, we then become our own abusers because we are patterning the way we treat ourselves after how other people treated us. And so masculines, hold on, hold steadfast, ground where you are. You can do this. You have all of the tools to navigate this transition, to walk through this portal. You are starting to see clearly and understand your sacredness. And when you can have reverence for the self, reverence for your vessel, reverence for the integrity of your words, your actions, your deeds, your solar plexus will be on fire. You will love yourself. You will be able to parent any sort of fear and parent any sort of negativity, any self-doubt, any sort of self-sabotaging thoughts. When you could take another step in divine surrender, believing in something greater than self, when you no longer have to solely rely on yourself and your limited abilities, everything opens up, because all of a sudden you realize, oh, okay, I'm not doing this alone. The universe is working with me. They want me to step into my highest self as much as I do. So we're on a team here. You're never doing this work alone. Let me just check the unconscious. Let's see, what do we got? Seek guidance in this. It is time for a different perspective. This is in the shadow position, okay, masculines? Listen, I know it might be very hard for your ego to ask for help or to ask for guidance, or as we saw earlier in the message. Oh, it was here. I'm sorry. It was right here in the shadow position. Some of you, in order to ask for help, you're going to have to admit your spiritual life, this divine experience. In order to name the problem, you're going to have to accept and claim that this is a spiritual problem. This is a problem of the spirit. This is the problem of managing your power. And some of you are pushing away, asking for help, because you have to admit that out loud. And if you have to admit it out loud to someone else, then yourself is going to hear it. And sometimes the ego rejects that, because the ego wants to preserve anything it can to not feel vulnerable. The ego always wants to preserve power. The ego always wants to elude and distract and distort. Okay, beautiful. Woof, intense masculines. Let's just get some, I want to get some nice loving self-care for you. Let's get some divine guidance here. Do we want, nope, we're going with our divine beloved cards. All right, Spirit, anything else? Whoa. All right, we have a bunch and they're flippers. Bear with me. I have to go chase after them. All right, we have this relax card. It says, I receive all blessings. O divine beloved, change me into one who knows how to relax completely, sleep deeply, and receive all the blessings of every moment, exactly as it presents itself, with ease and gratitude. And then we have nurturing. I am a spark of divinity. Change me, divine beloved, into one who accepts my body exactly as it is, seeing it as a vessel for your love. Fill me with gratitude for this physical form. Let me nurture and care for myself in every way. It's not an accident you've gotten several cards of honoring the abundance that is already in your life. We have several gratitude cards. We have several gratitude mentions. In the unconscious position, we have now in the holy space between. Allow me, divine beloved, to rest in that holy space between what is and what will be. Let me fully embrace, relax, and bless the now. Another card of gratitude. There's something coming through. Masculines, were you pitted against someone in your childhood? Were you raised in a household where everything was a competition? There's something here that is coming up about your childhood where you could never just relax and be a kid. You could never just play. And, it's almost like not everyone had your best intentions at heart. Like I grew up in a family where there was mostly a lot of love between me and my siblings. And I'll never forget when I got to high school and I started, meeting my friends' siblings and their family dynamics and all these things. And I couldn't believe how many siblings really fought, like fist fight and would throw each other under the bus and would say like those nasty things that you can never take back, like horrible. And I did not understand it. I didn't grow up like that. Like, I mean, I'm a decade between me and my siblings, so I was the baby and I get it, but it's a totally different dynamic. But I was like, whoa, you're in the same family, like you're on the same team. Like, why are you being so nasty to one another? So there's something here in masculines that you've really had to fight for most of your life. There's always been like, a race on, a competition. Have you been comparing yourself to your siblings, your peers, your parents, the success of your ancestral lineage? Sometimes if something happens like big, that's very like successful for one generation, it's held over our heads for decades and decades and decades, for many generations. And sometimes that serves the family narrative and sometimes it really harms it. And so I'm just sharing these ideas, masculines, to get your noggin going, to see if there's anything that needs to be released. Yeah, it's safe to relax. You can parent the parts of yourself that tell you that any sort of criticism around relaxing, resting, nurturing yourself. Maybe you grew up in a family like where you weren't allowed to rest, that you always had to be achieving and doing and accomplishing and like all these things. But you're an adult now and you get to parent yourself any way that you feel called, any way that your higher self calls you to. You get to step into this soul alignment. And mind you, this is your soul's deepest alignment, not anyone else's. Okay, thank you, Spirit. I'm just going to let's end on a Buddha wisdom here. Wow, we got one immediately. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Thank you so much. We have two here. We have, watch yourself, awaken yourself. Be the awakened dreamer who dreams awake. Be harmless, be blameless, awaken to eternal truth. I mean, isn't it interesting that out of this whole deck, you have two cards talking about waking up to something. Waking up, being harmless, being blameless, meaning surrendering to the wisdom, the divine gnosis that wants to flow through you. I just have to check the bottom of the deck. Let the ultimate truth be your soul food. Gather nothing, store nothing. When we can get our energy into present time, masculines, we are no longer leaking energy to the past or future, right? If you're replaying the past or stressed and worried about the future, your energy is not in present time. This is your job, to do what you have to do to empty your interior vessel. This is your mind, your spirit, your energy. Like sometimes this is the craziness about our brains and trauma and what our brain does to protect ourselves. Sometimes we can feel totally, air quotes, empty. We could have an empty mind, but our body is still contracted over the pain and trauma that it has experienced. So this isn't just a mental game. This is a full body, it takes, it takes support on all fronts: mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, astral, physical environment, not just your physical body, but the physical environment around you. This is really, really important, masculines, but you're doing it. So please be proud of yourself. Celebrate this, whatever new awakenings are arising, and just keep taking another step forward. All right, I'm sending you so much love. I hope this was supportive, and I'll see you in the next one.